So he's going to be presenting virtually. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen so Richard can share his.
Give me a minute, my app is starting.
All
Can
right.
you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay.
What? Johnny.
Johnny's being annoying, so ignore him.
Johnny's bullying people again.
It's cyberbullying. Just
Don't
close your
worry.
computer.
Johnny's just a bad person, it's fine.
That's true. I'm bad.
Both at the same
Yeah,
time.
that's
I'm bad in the bone.
Literally at the same time.
So yeah, if y'all want to make sure you're logged into ILab right now, your box should have been deployed to you. So if you don't have your ILab box that was, the app that was deployed to you, go ahead and raise your hand and we'll round it.
What's if you don't have it, raise your hand.
Wait.
Oh. I planned on being there in person since I just moved here, but because of unseen circumstances, I think it's better if I stayed away. Sorry, guys. I had a little bit of sickness happen in my house, so.
A couple of you guys are still
Love you.
Looks like a couple VFs are still deploying, so we might have to wait a minute or two for this.
Well, mine's still starting up, so.
Gonna play Roblox.
If you don't have it in like a minute, then please
They're already small.
But I can be small virtually.
It's probably small. And in Roblox.
And Roblox, yeah.
What? You're a fool.
But that's a good one.
It says I can't reach the website.
It's loading, so it's gotta be working.
So I love working for you. Just call it. What do we got here? There's room for, what size is yours? If you set this up, you send it like
How's everyone VFs looking? You guys see them?
I get this circly thing that goes round and
Oh,
round.
okay, so it's still loading.
The loading screen. Mine just says no virtual machines screen.
Yeah, that's it. You got it.
I got nope.
Hey,
That's my Discord chat.
Nope, there's nothing like this.
if you want to.
What is that?
Go back to your transfer action.
What did it say?
Here's the logo.
I'm pretty sure it would be fun. How's it say to go through? Oh. Yeah. Can you tell some,
No virtual machines.
Telling joke Shane?
Familiar faces.
Who's all planning on competing in the CCDC mock competition this weekend?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Are y'all signed up?
Austin, no fair.
Yes?
Austin's not
Maybe?
allowed.
Austin's not allowed to
Yeah.
hack my machine.
No. Austin.
Austin's gonna go hard on me, it's not fair.
Where are you going this weekend? I'm gonna come with you. This weekend?
I don't know. I didn't know.
That's next weekend.
Oh.
Come on.
I literally did sign up. I'm still trying to find out where the actual.
That's not what I'm worried about.
That's actually funny.
He was like, hey, you guys are the only.
I assume that was it was me that did it. I don't know. I usually.
I can't think of anyone else that would do it.
I don't know.
To sabotage you.
Sabotage me by putting Bergen on my team again.
I'll have you look at back.
I'll do better this time. I won't be absurdly tired.
That's okay, yeah. At least you showed me.
Yeah, John.
Yeah, I know, right? He said he would too.
What a goober.
And then I kicked Thomas out
That's
for no
also
reason.
partially my fault.
But then Thomas hacked me later, so
John not
it's
showing
like,
up
it's
is
kinda
partially my fault
got
as
even
well.
with me.
I mean, I'm signing up.
What team am I on?
Seems organized.
But like,
This
okay. Try my best.
that's the one thing I would say. Here,
Hack all the things.
hack all the things. I don't know how that sounds.
Yeah.
What's it called?
I don't remember.
No, it's drink all the booze, hack all the
Yeah,
things,
yeah, yeah.
do something else. It was like hack all the things. It's so cringe. But
It
it's
is.
funny.
It's awful, but I love it.
I like it a lot. It's actually pretty catchy.
It is, which honestly makes it worse.
Okay, here it is.
Oh, you could join.
Let's see who's on this.
So that's how we did.
What if I try
That's
to
fine.
wait a second.
You got the wrong DS. That's why it's dead. Cause that mom.
Drink all the booze, hack all the things.
Did you shut your grades on too?
Yeah.
You should.
So if you guys don't have, if you have now, you should.
Hack all the things. I have it, but it's slow. Freaking dang it.
I think it's using room mics.
Oh, is it?
Which is
I still wasn't there.
Yeah, and that.
What time is it?
I haven't checked.
I guess
Hey,
I was-
Richard, we can't hear you.
Yeah, and then
I'm not talking.
Oh, okay.
You just got
right,
right,
Joe.
Got him.
You control.
Yeah, it doesn't let me see my previous submission, so.
Are you guys able to open your Cali boxes up?
I was
No?
waiting for everybody to tell me they were ready.
I'll just play Roblox. it'll be
Okay,
fun.
raise your hand if you got your Cali boxes up.
I thought when you click
That's a success.
start the apps, it started off, or not.
Okay.
non-zero amount succeeded, so I'd say that.
Does yours not show up, Bergen, or is it still loading?
It doesn't show up.
Yours doesn't show up at all?
No.
That's why you.
Restart.
It'll be fine.
Are you
Shane
already
will
sure
check
you're,
in on it.
you're in dev
If not, just follow Johnny or something.
Yeah, that's my plan.
Okay, sweet, alright. Well, go ahead and get started, Richard. It looks like the majority of them are up, otherwise they can just watch us next to them.
Okay,
I have almost.
really loud. So I don't, on the previous one, did you cover like vulnerabilities or open ports or anything like that?
A little bit, but if you want to go into it again, you can, it's up to you.
So I'm just running a basic Nmap scan right now. The exploit I chose is, since I already know it's on this box, is Unreal IRCD. So I'll go straight into that. Hopefully my Nmap scan will finish, but we'll see.
No, you
And then I'll show you what port it is. So first, I'm just gonna start up Metasploit in like quiet, so you don't get that stupid banner.
Yeah, ask him to do Control Shift
Zoom in on the
plus.
terminal so you can make the text a little bigger.
Control Shift Plus.
I can tell he's using Metasploit console.
Yeah. That looks good.
I can tell he's typing something.
I know, right? Yeah.
Just can't.
But now I definitely see.
Is that better? Is that what you wanted me to do?
That's good.
Yep, that looks good.
Okay. Where are we at of the slides? Who's controlling the slides? I'm not.
No, and you can just share your screen if you have the slides, you can just pull up on your side, that way it's good.
Well, first, Kim wanted me to reiterate what netcat was in case anybody needed to know.
Yep.
It's just basically like an SSH tunnel, sort of. Its proper definition is it's a utility for reading and writing to network connections using TCP or UDP. It's designed to be dependable backend that can be used directly and easily driven by other programs and scripts. It's just a tunnel. So when you hear like your listener or anything like that, that's normally what we're talking about, is like a netcat listener. There's several out there. There's SoCat and a couple others as well. But for this instance, we're just going to be using netcat. So the first thing on your machine, your Kali machine, I would just start a netcat listener. I use LVNP. I forget what all that means. It's like
I do.
I forget. I don't know. I'll get that definition for you. And it's just I'll just have it sit there and listen while I set up my Metasploit payload. The payload that we're gonna use for this one is just a generic one.
Can you see it?
If you guys can't see my screen, just let me know. So I'll set my payload to that. And then since I know we're using Unreal IRCD, you can do like a simple search for it like this. I think it's like that way. Yeah, it comes back with this back door right here, and this is the one we'll be using. But I don't like this. So there. Anyways. There. It has an excellent success rate, everything like that. So it ranks excellent in that. So I'll set my exploit to it. Metasploit does have tab completion. You just have to have the whole path. You can't. I'll use this exploit without that, and then I'll just show my options so I know what I need to set in this scenario. Just scroll up a little bit. Super simple. All it's going to require is the host, the R host, and the command. The host is that we'll be using is 102 because we're 103. So I'll set my R host. And then the command, I'm just using a basic netcat command. It's supposed to work with bin bash, but it really doesn't for some reason. And I'll set my listening port to 4444 since that's where my listener is. Can't see that. Let me do that for you. And I lost connection. That's awesome. I think I lost connection.
Normalize losing connection.
Can you hear me still?
Using Unix.
Yep, we can hear you.
I lost connection.
So set our host.
Because I'm connected, but I'm not.
Oh.
Sorry.
Ends the stream.
There we go.
Quick,
Encore.
At the same time, I'll launch VS Code. Always.
We just go home.
Catch the actual.
You can see my screen now?
Yep, there we go.
Alright. Once that's set, I'll just verify my options to make sure I set everything that it's required. It will tell you if it's required, there's a column for it. And Unreal IRCD always listens on the port 6667. Not always unless you change it. And then I'll just type run. And now down here on my bottom screen, I do have reverse shell. First thing I like to do when I do this is I'll just do a simple Python to give me some type of like path and stuff. It's not a full working shell, but it works for now.
After he's done, can he like go back and review all the things he's done so that people can?
And that way I can see where I'm at. Now that we have initial foothold and we're root, I'm just gonna show like a really simple persistence using SSH. It's the easiest and quickest. There's several out there. You can backdoor service, you can backdoor package manager, a few other things.
Maybe it's because I didn't set the R host right away.
So no results from
Hey, George, can you show your options in the options you set?
I assume
What's that?
Can you show the options again for the Metasploit module that you had set?
Show options, easy bay.
Thanks, Rich.
Doesn't look.
Oh, you have U6 instead of Unix.
U6 instead of what?
Are we good?
Oh, my bad.
This one's like they're
UXIX
typing it out.
instead of Unix.
Oh, so it's actually supposed to type in Unix? Okay, my bad. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Just spell properly, John.
Yep, so he sets the R host and then also the CMD.
There you go.
That's CMD with 2 7s, right?
Base.
Cool.
Let me know when you guys are good, we should move on.
You're welcome.
Alright, whatever. Whoa.
Sorry. I'll scroll back up for you.
Yes,
I'll just
hold
leave
on
it.
1 second. Thank you.
I'll just leave it right there for you. Let me get it.
Where's the
Scroll.
Oh, that's the payload.
It's hanging out with your mom.
So you show payloads.
Yeah, show payloads. You set payload. I set the payload to the generic.
specify
There's several payloads you can use.
Enter
oh, you just use the default. Okay.
Yeah.
option.
So
And hypothetically, it should work
if you have your netcat listener working, yeah.
if I specified what the R host was. Oh, we're supposed to have to run it.
You want me to continue? You want me to wait?
You guys good or do
Let's
you-
wait
Yeah.
like 30 more seconds.
Okay.
So,
Just a bit. Thank you.
I'm a little slow.
Okay, so this is gonna be-
So in order to go back.
I don't know if I have the right idea. No,
I'm fine either
You
way.
wanna show the
Instead
steps
of
again from the
completely
beginning when you set up console again, Richard?
Oh, I forgot to set it.
What are you posting?
What is the port number? 6667?
Hey Richard, you wanna show the Metasploit from the beginning again, just
I'm
like
gonna
how you
commit
started
over.
it up and then.
Please do.
Wait, look, so.
From the beginning,
Yeah,
I guess
I guess.
so he'll go through it again
Literally
from the
3 steps.
beginning, so he's here, starts up MSF console.
the TAC, yeah, the TAC queue just quiets it so you don't get that fancy loading.
I like fancy loading.
Oh, well, then don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
So to get into that.
I already messed it up.
I'm sorry, there's a payload option in there.
Control C, keep it up.
So I figured. That's easy. Starting the Metasploit frame.
I was wondering when.
Real question is why is this so fast?
Game over.
Yeah.
Which one rid of that?
Oh, there it goes.
Dang Yeah, you gotta scroll back up to where it says
Hey Richard, can you scroll back up to your earlier commands really quick?
It's literally like I can't type it in there. It's slow. That's my bad.
It worked, but no session.
Alright, there you go.
There you go.
So he sets the payload, once you set the payload, you can just search for the Unreal like you did on that second line there. And once you search it, then you know like the name, and then he just typed the use exploit line.
Tab completion works. If you type exploit and start tabbing it out. Unix, IRC, as soon as you hit IRC and hit tab, I think it fills in the rest for you.
Yeah, and if you get it to show up on the line, if you see there's a number 0 right next to the exploit, you can just type
You
use
can-
0, use
Yeah.
0, and then that will fill it in for you.
Yep.
Use you wait what? Zero.
Literally, you sneezed and then like Spanish now.
I'm sorry, option. It's my fault. It's my fault. It must be. My electromagnetic cough.
Exactly.
And I just went.
We're still waiting on a couple.
So now you just gotta go and watch just do it execute. So now we wait.
Are you sure? Well, yeah.
We're gonna set the R host.
Okay, it looks like.
Are we good for him to move on to the next step? Alright, go ahead and move on to the.
Do you want me to continue showing the
Yep, just,
this?
yep.
Alright.
There we go.
That's already set.
Things like this. I was like, how you
Alright, let me just pause right there so they can get those two commands.
It's just they're so smart and you're so dumb. Just kidding.
Nah, I was using like this. I just built different.
Go ahead.
Is that good enough? Lucas, is this good enough airflow?
Okay. Are we good?
Let's wait a couple minutes here.
What?
So the two things he sets is the R host. So you'll just type set R host and then the IP address that's up there, the 192.168.1.102. And then the other one he set is the set CMD, and you'll just type the NC space tac E / bin bash and then IP address and port number.
Base to base to base.
I think we're just waiting on a couple more to do.
I'm based on being based. Deep.
It's just gonna switch.
What? The megaphone.
Alright, now let's explore this.
So on the scale,
Alright.
don't say that out.
Sorry, wait. It says unreachable again.
No.
Let's go.
Maybe it's just hack proof.
No, that's not how it works.
Maybe it's perfect defense.
God dang it.
This is my message, but no.
I typed in the wrong IP.
Student said it's great, but
I'm not just a student senate.
well,
No, that's wrong.
I'm doing it for the cheese. And for trades.
Watch it, is this just gonna work?
Alright, does everyone show it as connected? Once they run it? So once you have all those options set, if you just type run and hit enter,
And then it says host unreachable.
it says host unreachable.
Let's go.
Hey, do you wanna see if you can help Johnny with it?
That's a good question. I'm
Oh.
pretty sure.
Kim
Wait a
will,
second, wait a
Kim will
second.
try and help you.
I'm pretty sure I did.
Come on, man.
He might just
Wait, it says powered on though.
This is my team leader.
Wait, go to be out. It literally says powered on. Unless it's the wrong DS.
Is everyone else able to get it to work?
On my computer.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming
For a target?
No, that's
I mean like the actual console. Sorry, I had it.
I'm assuming we're doing
I'd run a
103 to.
Does yours work?
I don't know. I'll just try it again. It might have just been like.
Alright, go ahead and move it on.
Yeah, that's what ours was.
Let's get it.
Yeah, what's going on? Print up?
Have you read it?
Yeah.
I started.
I could have
How did
screwed it
you
up.
do?
It's possible.
How did you replace %S?
I didn't.
Did your exploit not work?
Doing my
Well,
It
It
said,
I know.
host unreachable, so that's, I feel like that was the issue, but I'm pretty sure I typed in everything else correctly.
Get a hobby.
Honestly.
I could have not, but you know. Have I ever made mistakes?
No.
So I don't know how to literally just
Start playing Age of Empires. That's what I
You can
do.
keep going, Richard.
that won't crash.
I can go on.
Yep, and then, yeah, Kimmy's gonna help him.
Done it wrong.
Give me a second.
Yep, he will
Yep.
go.
My target went down.
Oh wait, Diego, happiness.
Right? Oh, yeah. All these games.
Give me 1 second, I'm working on it right now.
There you go.
Can you zoom in on your terminal again?
I'm pretty sure someone's really
There you go.
104?
Yeah.
Did I do 104?
Yeah.
Is that what I typed in?
It said 104. Instead of 104.
Almost.
Yep, so back at the terminal with his netcat, he's gonna type in this Python command.
Then are you saying it's gonna work now?
Should work if you set to 104.
Big
You need to set it.
If anyone have a host not found, set host instead of 102 to 104. Then it should work.
Alright.
That's what he did.
So that Python command does not give you a fully interactive shell. It says it does, but it's not really a fully interactive. It just gives you more interaction.
I suppose we could return it to just a shell.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be much on the command.
Yo, sending backdoor command?
So
We're hacking.
We'll see, I think it's gonna do things.
are we good?
Just pause for a little bit, I think you're all still typing that Python.
Absolutely, I'll pause.
It's still sending the backdoor command.
Oh, Johnny, you should have seen how
I did.
Did you actually?
Wait.
hold?
Go ahead and raise your hand once you got that Python written down. You gotta
No, I should have figured it.
Don't look at my screen though.
You
did not.
And then.
You said you raised your hand done.
Yeah, did you get it? Okay, perfect, yep.
Great job. Just
Oh, she's something
No
else for.
problem.
Great job.
It says couldn't resolve
Way
my
to
host
go.
name using IP address instead of. I think my parents said so.
If you can't get it, Kimmy is gonna walk around and help you.
Nah, it's okay, I'm just waiting for it to. It says exploit completed. No such thing.
Control C.
It's literally because everyone else is telling me what to do. Yeah.
Alright, we're gonna keep moving on. Go ahead, Richard.
We can see why.
Okay, from here, like I said, just for simple persistence, I'm just going to do an SSH. So I'll create an SSH key command is SSH keygen.
Easy money.
I don't really care for passphrases.
What, you don't password protect your SSH?
Not in this instance.
Did
And
you,
then I'll just,
I think he's trying to.
Did you type random jargon to make it random more?
oh yes, random jargon.
I typed Shawn Mendes for every single one of mine.
It's true.
That's
Literally.
That's
Mitch
good.
guessed it.
I didn't know.
Oh, you missed that one.
So I'll just,
Right here.
once it's done, I'll cat the IDRSA pub, and then I'll come back into mine over here,
You probably no one will.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, can you?
and I'll echo it in to.
That's I know.
No, if you accidentally strong this again.
Oh, okay.
She must be hacking, you know.
It's just this. Logical.
No, the whole thing.
Authorized underscore keys. Yep. Easy money. Based.
Is everyone up to this point yet or not yet?
I was still waiting on the backdoor commands, but I know this stuff. See.
PTY, not PTR.
Are you sure?
Yes, I know what.
Okay.
You don't know what.
I'll make it there,
Secure shell.
and then
Oh yeah.
then I'll
Come on,
You
man.
showed me.
And then run.
I know. That's what I used to log into dev.hostbit.org.
That's literally what I told you.
And Andrew Kramer's assembly.
Exactly.
Are you sure? Yeah. Are you sure about it?
Absolutely positive.
ID.
Are you sure about the SSH? The answer is yes.
Yeah. This is
Control C and.
Okay.
On this one?
You can't win them all.
now I have a fully interactive shell,
base.
and I have a
SSH key.
SSH.
What's an SSH?
Can you scroll up, Richard, and show like the
That allows him
SSH
to
keygen part
SSH.
again? That
Yeah.
you typed in there?
Imagine if you didn't have to type in your password every time
Yep,
you
it
go.
should be at the very top.
That's what SSH. That's what SSH key is. Yeah, you can just shove that on the server.
I remember on, I think it was Tom's server last year, if you knew the path of a file, you could just get it.
That's pretty
Yeah,
funny.
so if you knew the direct path to a file, you could copy it.
It's awful.
That's actually based. Just copy all Jackson's
But,
assignments.
you did fix it.
Dang it.
I mean, obviously.
What
Funny if you
obviously? What do you mean obviously? Of course he didn't fix it.
Tom fixing things?
Impossible.
Did you all get the key generated?
You mean like this?
Get that.
You have to get persistence.
That's the SSH. You have mail.
No. Can you scroll up a little bit? Or you mean on the other screen?
Me?
Which part hold on. Which part are you on? Did you generate the key? Okay, can you show the SSH keygen command again, Richard?
It's literally
Way to just be honest.
underscore keygen.
It's literally right here.
Right
Yeah,
there.
so it's SSH dash keygen?
Yeah.
Oh, connected, dude.
Come on, guys, it's literally.
Connected.
Does anyone actually have
So then once you generate the key, you don't have to set up your passphrase, just keep hitting enter. And then it should tell you,
It's that one for this, but you can.
I type in Shawn Mendes.
so then print out that random art image, and then you can just cat.ssh / the ID, and you can just have them click that out.
That's not super hard.
So yeah, you have to
You'll
first generate the SSH key.
You'll just copy that, highlight it, Control Shift, I think C inside of this, or right click copy. And then on this one, I just echoed it into the authorized key file under
Easy
root.
money.
Yeah, so you just type echo space, you can do the first quotation mark, paste that in there.
Yep.
Quotation, and then the double caret.
Double caret means append, don't overwrite.
I would
And then that goes into the SSH authorized keys file.
Yes.
yeah. And make it immutable so they can't delete it.
That cat's slow. Be faster.
Or make it slightly.
And if you need help, go ahead and raise your hand and Kimmy can.
Yep, I'll be around.
Thank you, Kim.
Thanks, Kim.
From here, once you SSH in, you have a fully interactive shell. You can do several things. I just want to note that create a user, give them sudo, give them whatever, add them to the will group depending on what version you're in. Give them sudo rights so that way you can get back in if you need. Like I said, there's other way to persist. You can do service persistence. There's nice sites out there like Payloads of All Things that will show you how to do bash RC persistence, service package manager persistence. Note to mention, if you're really good at programming, you can possibly recompile a binary like ls with the persistence for yourself if you want, but that's a little bit more advanced than this. So that's basically what I had to show you. On the slides, we go over effective reporting, like you should always outline your risk exposure. Strategic and tactical recommendations. I'm not sharing my screen. You want me to share the slides?
Yeah, yep, that'd be good.
Ah, man, you're gonna make me do that. Okay, I'll switch screen. Change window.
Man.
There.
Major.
Yep, we can see your slides now.
Yep, I'm not full viewing it, but there you go.
I forgot to.
So on the slides that you all have access to, like I said, outline risk exposure, strategic and tactical recommendations to improve security posture, the security issues you identified during your assessment, risk levels, like likelihood of impact, recommendations on how to address the findings, and then you should always make sure the customer you're debriefing fully understands the risks and the remediation plan.
On the back. So on the back. Okay.
A sample report view on the slides is right here. Kimmy provided this. It goes over kind of everything that we just covered. And then if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask.
That's actually awesome. I love that. It's an outstanding idea. I would buy that.
I
was kind of joking.
I would buy
I think
that.
I'd buy that for the irony. It's too bad I just make that code.
Super hard to hear everybody.
Does anyone else have any other questions for Richard? Alright, I don't think anyone has any questions for Richard.
Like inside of
Okay,
Like,
legitimate idea.
if you guys want more advanced persistence, I suggest you hit up Galen and Shane. They're really good at it.
So the cascading numbers.
So are you good with that, Shane?
Better idea. Black hoodie. Comic Sans font. DevSec. Just says DevSec. And then on the
I'm gonna stop sharing my screen now.
That's what's funny.
Okay.
Alright guys, that's all we have for this evening. If you have any questions, feel free to say, otherwise thanks for coming.
Kim, can I know you one more time?
Yeah.
The first one was a joke, right?
I like that idea.
It's funny, but I like the second one as like a legit idea.
The Matrix?
Yeah.
That one's
Yeah, I
actually
got it,
super
guys.
sick.
Don't worry. I'll get you set up.